Hi, myself Raj, and welcome to my channel, I am here to talk. Today I'm going to start the Health Talks episode number 6 on gut health. But today I'm really feeling excited because the person with whom I'm going to have this conversation is really special for me because I've been following him since the lockdown started, this COVID-19 lockdown, and I've gained so much information and knowledge from him, from the post that he basically does on Instagram and over the social media. Basically, very much clarified the way he portrays all the information about scientific articles that anyone can understand that. So, it's very much important for us to educate ourselves regarding our overall digestive system and gut health. Because today's episode is going to be completely on gut health, how to maintain the homeostasis of our own internal system, especially the digestive system, because what we eat, our nutrition, we are so much confused about that. So many misconceptions we have in our mind. It's very much important to clear all the misconception by using a real authentic source. So that's why do not skip any seconds of this video. Watch the entire video to educate yourself, because I'm going to have Dr. Pran Yoganathan from Australia. As we are facing so many pathophysiological situations, we should actually gain proper knowledge from the right person. So without wasting much time, let's start today's Health Talks episode number 6, Gut Health.
Okay, Pran. So let's start today's video. And first of all, I would like to thank you very much, for accepting this invitation, because it's really an honor for me to have you over this Health Talk episode number 6. It's really great. Thank you so much for accepting this invitation.
It's a pleasure. It's lovely to join you, and we should be thankful to the technology that allows us to be able to do this from 2 different continents.
Yes, exactly. Thanks to this overall internet and the way right now we can connect to each other, even the distance doesn't matter after all. Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's start today's Health Talks episode number 6, gut health. We'll be discussing the overall homeostasis, the internal system, especially the digestive system, how to keep it at the homeostasis, because I believe the information, the knowledge that you have, it would definitely help all the people to have a clear conception about a better lifestyle, or to achieve a better lifestyle, what should be the right protocols and what should be the right nutrition, what we should follow. I believe all the people will get definitely real information from you, Pran.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so here I go. My first question: what are the factors that induce GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease?
Good question. GERD is often made out to be a disease of excess acid. However, that is somewhat a convoluted way of looking at it. By definition, as human beings, we contain a very acidic stomach, or we have a very acidic stomach. It helps us with the decontamination of food, right? In particular, with foods such as meats that can be prone to being contaminated and spoiling easily. And the second thing it does, it also helps us break down protein to a more digestible form in the smaller intestine. So acid is critical, and it's our birthright as humans to have an acidic stomach. We've evolved for it, evolved with the environment to provide us an acidic stomach. GERD is a very complicated system. I would describe GERD as a failure to keep the acid within the stomach. Okay, and the stomach has a very interesting system where the junction between the esophagus and the stomach, there is a valve called the lower esophageal sphincter. It's a muscle that should remain shut. We know certain foods that ferment downstream, foods such as lentils and chickpeas and things like that, foods that are prone to fermenting in the colon will create intestinal gas, which causes transient relaxations of this lower esophageal sphincter, okay? So it just opens things up. In addition, if you've got an abdominal cavity where there's a lot of intra-abdominal fat, you're packing a lot of fat into the system, there's a lot of pressure on the stomach. So things get forced upwards, okay? So those are 2 factors, but there's also a third factor, which is that as we age, the diaphragm, the muscle that helps pinch around the junction between the esophagus and the stomach also weakens. So the stomach moves up. So these people get these things called hernias, which again predisposes to the acid rising up and creating symptoms within the esophagus. The esophagus is not built to deal with gastric acid.
Okay, it's very interesting. Means like I've seen a lot of people. Means also, I used to face this issue particularly when I wake up in the morning. When I used to wake up in the morning, I really used to feel like vomiting tendency during when I was to brush my teeth, and basically I was not aware of it, that what exactly the reason behind it. But yes, somehow when I switched my basically diet to overall protein based, completely protein based, that from that time I've been observing that it's like it's curing basically. Right now I do not have that issue at all.
Yes. Look, this is the beauty of a higher protein or higher animal protein diet, because it essentially it's like a lock to a padlock. Sorry, a key to a padlock. It simply just fits our system. Okay, this is what we are built to do. So it makes no surprise. It's no surprise to me that your symptoms improved on an animal-based diet, because that's what you're built to do.
Right, you know, right. That is how the evolution happened. But somehow we are so much, there are a lot of misconception right now got stored in our brain because of the confusing nutritional, so much articles, information over a lot of social media. And with time, people are so much getting, what should I say, misled through that particular information and articles.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, Tim, it is become a very confusing environment. We are not sure how to eat. We don't know how we've evolved. There's so many ideologies within the system. And in a country like India, which is obviously a very, it might be controversial to discuss it, but a very religious country, there is ideological factors that drive the way people eat. So it becomes very, very confusing to people.
Yeah, exactly. When people basically, mix up the spirituality and overall science, basically, that time the problem actually happens. Yeah, I do respect all the religious values, but the matter of fact, when it comes to our overall homeostasis, overall organ and internal system, we should actually focus on the real science, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm passionate about science. And I think each and every one of us has a scientist deep inside. It's just some people are more, there's a curiosity that's driving them. And the deeper you dig into the science and the more you understand about where we've come from, you'll understand where we've gone wrong with the way we do things. So, I'm very passionate about the aspect of science and about facts. I think it's important to be objective. I'm not a very ideologically driven person. Whether that would mean that I lack spirituality, I wouldn't define it as that. It's just, I think I'm passionate first and foremost about facts and science.
Yeah, that's true. And that basically completely clear the post that basically you do on Instagram. I can understand that through that. Okay, so coming to the next question. Is it a good idea to intake anti-acid drugs to avoid gastric troubles, or are there any underlying causes where we should pay our attention?
No, I don't think so. Look, let's take an example, okay? We've got a young man, aged 20. His stomach, by definition, is a very hyperacidic stomach, okay? You've got someone who's at the peak of their physical, mental, and reproductive health. They've got a digestive system that's very capable. The pH of this individual could be 1.5, which is a very hyperacidic stomach, okay? Now, take that individual and fast forward another 40 years, where they're now 60 years of age. The pH in the stomach will drop. It becomes 3.5, even possibly 4. So it's less acidic. Yet, paradoxically, the person is more likely to develop reflux at 60. It teaches you it is not a disease of acid. It is simply a disease of not being able to contain the acid through a lack of ability of this muscle, both the lower esophageal sphincter, the diaphragmatic muscle, and the fact that because we ferment downstream, that the lower esophageal sphincter muscles constantly being relaxed and opened up. Right. Okay, so it's not a disease of acid. So taking an anti-acid drug may band-aid the system, of course. It may drop your acidity even further, so you get less of those symptoms. But does it stop the regurgitation? I do not believe it does. In fact, I know
it will not cure the underlying cause, basically, from the root.
Of course not. Of course not. Yes.
Yeah, because I have been observing a lot of people, they are actually in the habit of taking anti-acid liquids and drugs in just right after waking up in the morning to avoid gastric problems, to avoid some, acid problems, they say. And what I believe that people actually do not have the real concept that the overall internal system is very much acidic. They're not in the alkaline. And they always, have the concept that, okay, we are getting acidic. We should cure this by the process of through some medication or something else. We should make it more alkaline. But the matter of fact, if you see the inherent factor is acidic, it's not alkaline. So that is where we need to educate ourselves, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. It's not the right way to treat regurgitation and gastroesophageal reflux. It's a disease. It's fundamentally a disease of muscle, not a disease of acid.
Right.